Hello to the chicos and the chicas, back to Inside My Head, and today on the menu is El Ultimo Pablo, the ultimate Pablo, if I'm translating my Chico correctly here, and I have no idea what we are going to put on the menu for today, so we are just going to lean back, chillax, remove this from the corner of my recording. No, yes, good. Chat, what do we want, Scandi or Spanish? Rui Lopez. Let's go Rui. Let's go classical. That's what we want. Classical chess. And then my opponent throws at me the threat of the Berlin, which I'm going to embrace because I have got a very, very cool line against the Berlin. No, I don't. No one does. No one has a cool line against the Berlin. The line that I'm going to play is not cool. It's very dodgy, but it's fun. So let's get on with it. D takes e5. A temporary piece, Saccarino, which looks like I blundered my bishop. Completely not out of the question. But the reality is that a4 actually traps the knight on b5. And usually this leads to one of the most famous draw scenarios known to humankind when knight takes, queen takes comes. They play d5. And then I go en passant, queen takes, queen check, queen blocks, queen back, and we walk away with a terrible draw. However, in this position, I once have seen a piece of analysis published, I don't know by who, and it mentioned a very curious little move, which I think I have YouTubed already a game or two with, which is queen f4. And the best response to this move is actually very deep. Well, very is, I suppose, subjective, but for how shallow e takes d6 is, the best move for black is by no means an obvious one to find. And unless you actively look for a clever idea here for black, it's very, very easy to miss. The point of the move queen f4 is that after bishop e7, I then can play queen g3, and if they castle, I immediately win the game with bishop h6. Now, the best and most effective way to deal with this problem for black is the shocking queen d7. It's an absolutely insane move. And the idea is that if I go queen g3, they go queen g4. Black just keeps on pursuing the idea after queen d7 of trading or offering queen trades. And I don't really have a good way to meet it. Especially because after queen d7, both queen f5 and g4 are equally obnoxious. Now, c6 is a bit of a pass. I'm a bit torn between rook d1 and... yeah, no, I like rook d1. I have played this in the past and it's a reliable move. The idea is that now we are threatening to play c4 and then create an isolated pawn. So that's what we are going to do here. The point is, if I am not playing total nonsense and I'm not playing too fast, is that let's assume I go c4, right? So now what appears to be a very logical and clever plan by black is to entirely abandon the idea of kingside castle and castle queenside. Why not? Right? And bishop e6 seems to point that direction because they developed a queenside piece, not a kingside one. However, after c4, if they play queen d7, I then can take d5, bishop d5, knight c3, and they certainly don't want to allow that IQP. However, if after c4, instead of d7, they go to c7, then cd bishop d is no longer pinned. But in that case, I get to play knight c3, hitting the bishop again. And if the bishop retreats, then my rook is cutting off the castling line, so the king cannot castle anymore. So bishop e6, in some ways, or in the most important way, does not deal with c4. And so here we go. By the way, is that a Chilean flag? Smashed it, baby. Chilean chica. So yeah, interesting position here. There is a little pressure on black here, because bishop e7 is still strongly met by queen g3, when g6 is a must. And then I can choose to cut out castling altogether, or cash in on the CD bishop d knight c3 idea. I actually thought that they might play queen b6, but I think it's a bad move. And I'll tell you why too. Because at one point I'm going to get a bishop e3 tempo. So what I'm thinking now is cd bishop d knight c3. And frankly, I have no idea what they want to play against that. Because if then they drop back to e6, I don't think they would. But if they did, I am very, very near certain I will play bishop e3, sacking b2. Find the move that defends the knight on c3. Might even be knight e4. Someone keeps on saying on the internet that put your pieces in the center, and it looks like it's a good advice. And then rook b1, rook b7 is on. So maybe after cd bishop d knight c3, they want to play bishop b3 to score a tempo on the rook. But then I have a counter tempo with bishop e3. And bishop c5 is tragic because I take knight e4, hitting queen, hitting knight d6 check. These are the types of calculations, by the way, that I very, very much like to pass on to my students. This is where most people below 2000 fail. That this evaluate, the usual, the calculate, evaluate, decide kind of process is not quite on point in terms of depth, accuracy. Something tends to bleed out. So yeah, I just decided to go with it because it didn't make any sense to me to ponder any longer, because the moves I'm playing are natural and they are the ones that I wanted to play, and I just wanted to double check. I mean, they can consider CD. I wouldn't. I guess CD, knight c3, castles, bishop e3. That looks horrible for black. Yeah, that looks just dead lost. Like, it's not playable. So I'm anticipating bishop d5. But frankly, like I said, I didn't like queen b6 because it exposed the queen to two different tempo moves. And both of them appeared to be quite useful for me. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I feel very, very confident and happy about this position. Note, by the way, that my opponent has been playing ridiculously fast, which seems to be plaguing far higher rated players like 22, 24 than, you know, your usual 1800 crew, where I repeat very often that, hey guys, what's going on? Like, use your time. And you do see now how this sneaky queen f4 idea, if you don't know what you're doing with black, can spiral out of hand really, really fast. So let's go knight c3. Yep, and we agreed on bishop e3. A very, very common mistake that my students in particular make a lot, but I think it's a very generic idea, is that I have already calculated this line. Remember, I called out that I was going to play bishop e3, and I stopped it there. I was going to follow it up with rook d2, by the way, but I stopped. So they calculated the line 2 moves ago. The opponent chooses to enter the line, and they blitz out their entire calculation without rechecking their moves. And the better player you are, the less likely that you continuously have to recheck your lines. But below 2200 FIDE, I would say, is the line I would draw where I would be like, no. Even if you think that's best, even if you have already calculated, you calculated it 2 moves ago. Calculate again. Just do one last double check to ensure that there is no blunder. Because now the position is fresh, it's right in front of you. You don't have to visualize as deeply as you had to when the bishop was still back at home. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to say bishop e3. And I already spotted queen b4 now, which I didn't see then. But luckily I have rook d4, so I can keep the queens on the board without any dramas. Bishop e3, bishop c5. Yeah, I did call out take knight e4 winning. So after bishop e3, I'm guessing one of these two are going to happen. And either case, I can very comfortably play either rook d2 or rook d3. I really don't know which, but we'll get to that when we need to cross that bridge. I'm already considering vague ideas about the rook d6 exchange sack, but for the time being, I don't know if I can make it work, in particular against queen c7, because then if bishop takes, I can take back with the tempo, and that idea in general appeals to me a great deal. But quite frankly, yeah, I mean, queen c7, rook d3 just looks very delicious. It just looks very delicious, because then I'm also threatening some random knight jumps hitting the bishop. If bishop c2, I pull back. If they go back, then I want a tempo, because I played rook d2 and it's my turn again. So queen c7, rook d3, bishop c2, if I pull back and they go back to g6, then a funny situation has occurred. Actually, no, I will need to start calculating there like mad. Because what happens then is that the bishop is absent from this diagonal, which is quite important. It feels like it's good to cover these squares with the black bishop. But if this bishop is here, I no longer have the queen g3 attacking pattern with bishop h6. So then black is genuinely just threatening to play bishop e7 castles and be better with the two bishops. Right. All of the above is irrelevant now because opponent played queen a5. Not true that it's irrelevant, actually. I will take that back. It's relevant because rook d3 is still one of my main candidate moves. I'm really itching already for tactics due to the fact that we have got a huge lead in development. So I'm looking at ideas like sacking the exchange with queen f5 or queen g4, creating a mate threat, but I don't feel like we are in a position where those ideas could be justified. Not yet. So I'm very, very strongly inclined to play rook d3 here. Again, various knight jumps are on. Rook double may be on. Yeah, it just feels like an ultimate healthy, good move. The only reason why I hesitated for a sec is because I'm trying to figure out what I would do if they played rook d8. Because then it's a slight bugger, or bummer, that my rook is hanging. Whereas if I went to d2, it wouldn't be. So rook d3, rook d8. Let's say I take, queen takes back. And now if we could claim the file, that would be great. The d file, that is. But maybe just 94? Yeah, I'm calling it. Because even after rook d2, if I had gone rook d2, rook d8, I would have a greater choice. A larger number of choices. But I didn't really see how I could benefit from that. Like, I could play 94 perhaps right away. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this was a bit lazy of a move, but I want to keep the pressure on. It just feels like a move that is more versatile than rook d2 would have been. So if bishop c2, rook d2, bishop g6, I was going to say against queen c7, rook here. And the idea is that if they play bishop e7, I can actually penetrate. And the bishop is hanging, so they can't castle. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, I would be definitely feeling a bit of pressure here with black. So rook d8 is what I think is best for black. I'm gonna take it. Queen takes. Actually, as much as I hate myself for saying it out loud, but after rook d8, queen d8, I reckon I can actually take this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can. I mean, there is b6. And then maybe I need to play a5, ba5. Yeah, I mean, I managed to split the pawns. Yeah, maybe I will keep that in and just play 94. and see how they react, because then if bishop e7, queen g3 is still a major pain. I thought this was a problem now, wasn't it? Hello? Queen g3? No? I'm confused now. What's he gonna do after queen g3? g6? Then I go bishop h6, no? I'm confused, man. What have you got, bruv? I mean, this has been the main motif of the game for the last 10 moves, right? That bishop e7 wasn't really an easily accessible method of development for black because of queen g3. So one of us has missed something. Because king f8 looks ugly, might be necessary. g6 looks really, really bad. And I don't see what else. I mean, he can... Oh, he can't even throw any of these moves in because I can take and take with check. Yeah, I reckon it's gonna be king f8, to be honest. Yeah, king f8 is what I would... Oh, but then I have the penetration, so... Okay, I think black is in trouble. I do think that black is in severe trouble here. By the way, g6 was meant to be met by bishop h6, and I do think that that is a correct idea. But I might actually consider bishop g5. Because that also denies castling, right? So let's say g6, bishop g5, takes, and then castling. But then if I play knight e4, like it's carnage city, knight f6 check, queen comes on h6, it's gonna be mate. So against g6 I have an abundance of, well, not quite an abundance, but two very healthy choices. Yep. Yeah, I'm actually quite tempted to go with bishop g5. Because I really want to follow it up with knight e4. So for example, bishop g5, queen c7, I would go knight e4. Bishop d5, knight f6 check, bishop takes. And if they castle, they get immediately mated. I like this because it is a type of move that causes more headache, in my opinion, to black than bishop h6. Although that is quite a filthy move too, so I'm a little bit torn. Yeah, look. It has to be one or the other. I'm going with this one. Yeah, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong on this. I got to hung up on the idea of trading and then penetrating on the dark squares, and it might have been objectively better to altogether deny castling. We will soon see. Okay, here is the justification of why I did this. If I go bishop h6, rook d8, and it starts trading, right? And I'm not a super happy camper about that. Because maybe if I take, he may be able to retake with the king, walk it to c8, and then bring the other rook to d8, and all of a sudden his problems are solved. In contrast, after bishop g5, if he plays rook d8, I take e7. They can't take back because queen g5 check just mobs up the board, so they must insert rook takes, king takes, queen d6 check, king back, knight e4, and knight f6 mate is unstoppable. I mean, they can stop the mate itself, but it's game over. Okay, we managed to post hoc rationalize our decision. I'm still not saying I justified it, but at least we gave it a go to try to figure out if this was better than bishop h6. I was thinking about playing for black, considering a move like bishop c5 or bishop b4, altogether abandoning the idea of allowing the trade. But both bishop f6 and knight e4 with the idea of knight f6 look absolutely devastating. Yep, so let's take this guy back, yeah? Yep. Whoa! Oh, that's actually pretty clever. That is clever. I like that. Okay, and by me saying I like that, what I usually mean by that is that, dang it, I missed it. Yeah, so the concept here is that if rook d8, then queen d8, and that offers a queen trade at the most awkward moment from my point of view. Dang it. Okay, so this is the reason why I needed to play bishop h6 and not bishop g5. At least that much has been established. I'm trying to think if I can do something cute like this, but I don't really see how after rook d3 I could drum up anything. Here knight d6 check loses to rook takes d6 and I'm pinned. And knight f6 check, king d8. I very much doubt that I have anything there. So the only way to avoid mass trades is to move the rook on the third. I'm thinking rook h3 now. Although that may walk into bishop e6. And then if queen f6, then they can castle. What if I go rook e3? It's a bit of a lame square, I guess. One benefit of rook e3, though, hold the horses, is that if he castles, I can play queen h6 without allowing queen e5. Ooh. That is very handy. That is very handy. You know what is also very handy? That if I play rook e3 and they play bishop d5 to completely cut out knight e4, then I will have e6. And if pawn takes, rook takes, and the bishop can't take because of the pin. Wow, this is delicious, man. This is delicious. So what would I do if it was my turn right now? I would play knight e4. So what I'm thinking here for black are moves that either try to prevent knight e4 altogether, such as bishop d5, or moves that try to, if not nullify, but at least reduce the threat factor of knight e4. Now castles, what did I say I would do? Oh yeah, queen h6. Queen h6, and that's absolutely lethal. Yeah, so now I'm very, very attracted to this e6 idea. I want to double check. Because after e6 he has castle. Oh no, he doesn't, because then he's... Oh, yes. Oh, this is a dagger. This is a dagger. Oh man, this feels so good. Okay, so take, rook e6, king d7 is a line that we need to check. Dang it. It's not as winning as I want it to be. Okay, so e6 takes. Rook takes king d7. If queen e7, king c8, and he's safe as. If take, rook takes king d7, rook check, king c8. Maybe queen e5. But I don't feel like I have an awful lot going on there either. I was so excited about this e6 move. And it might end up being a case of me chasing that king to safety. That would be very upsetting. Now, I gotta go because my time is ticking away. And I feel like I can't really come up with a much better alternative. So what I'm thinking now is that after take king d7, I go rook e7, check, king c7, queen e5. What that move does, it accomplishes quite a bit in terms of putting pressure on black. It denies rook e8, trading off my best piece. It gives a bit of pressure there, so the rook is glued to the back rank. It maintains the pin, and it also threatens the c7 square. So actually after queen e5, I have a game-winning threat of b4, queen b6, a5, and black can no longer guard the c7 square. So that actually may be completely winning for me. It feels a bit too nice to be true, but I'm playing it now fast because actually I have absolutely zero justification because I'm playing 15-10, so I shouldn't be doing this. So queen e5 is the move that I announced I would do. And yeah, it just seems to come at the perfect time when I cancel this, cancel everything. And b4, a5 is my threat. Can he consolidate? Man, this would be lovely if this was the correct way to play. I feel like I may have missed the board here with bishop h6 instead of bishop g5. But the c6 move was so clean, man. I don't know why I keep on calling you guys, man. Okay, makes ooh. That's dirty. So he wants b4, queen b6, and there's a mate threat down here. Remember that you're... Oh, but that doesn't make any sense, actually, because after b4, queen b6... Oh, sheesh. That's a backring mate, too. But wait, no. I'm completely winning here. Knight d5 wins, because if he takes, it's check here. And if queen takes, we've got mate on c7, yeah? So it's over. Take, hello? Yeah, take rook c1. King d8, and then there will be a mate somewhere there. Yeah, that's it. It's over. Okay. That's cool. That's very cool. It's going to resign right now, actually. Gotcha! Told ya! Alright, let's see. I really want to know. 92. Not Kramnik-esque enough for my liking, but not bad either. Okay, let's go through quickly. So queen f4 book, but you know it gets that meh sign. But c6 in return wasn't. Ooh, rook d1 is not best. Was it c4 right away? a5. Yeah, okay. So the idea is to try to put pressure on this diagonal, try to provoke a6, but it's a bit vague to me. I like what I did more. Yeah. I call that bad. Yep. Okay, so I'm playing. Oh, I can already see you guys don't see. Bishop g5 got a question mark. Sheesh kebab. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so I played really good chess ever since. I mean, not. I don't want to count a5 there instead of my rook d1. I would play rook d1 again even if I knew that a5 was best. And that was a bad move. Now, how bad it was? I tell you how bad it was. Currently, the eval is 2.36, and this drops it down to 125. And needless to say that the best move is going to be bishop h6. Yeah, I knew that something else was coming. Wow. Bishop d2. I mean, as soon as I see it, I'm like, yeah, sure, it makes perfect sense, because now I have got 95, 94 threatened. And if queen c7, I'm guessing then bishop h6. No, it's 94. We don't even need to go anymore. Oh boy, of course, because we are hitting this. And if bishop e6, 96 check. Actually, it does win, but here the engine finally wants bishop h6. Either or is very neat. Yeah, I completely missed this. Not bishop g5, not bishop h6, but bishop d2 idea. Yeah, hats off to the machine. Very good. And what if rook d8? It says knight d5 again. Okay, see? I don't want to try. I don't want to look like I'm trying to save face, right? But if I had seen this, there is absolutely zero chance that I would have preferred this over what I did in the game. Because this looks messy. Because now the light squared bishop is an absolute beast in the defense. But after bishop h6, yeah, I can't argue with this. Because without castling, black is not going to be able to hold against the queen. So yeah, anyway, bishop d2 was a better move than bishop g5. Now I'm just curious if he messed up. Best? Yeah, that was bad. And I knew it was bad. I called the e6 idea was so cool. So they needed to play rook d4. Excuse me. Why can't I play knight d4 though? Hello? What? Wow, just drop back and walk. That is madness. I mean, I would have thought that this is completely winning for white. And the engine evaluated plus 1.3. I would have thought it's like plus 4. Wow, okay. So apparently he dodges the threats here. Cool. And then after bishop d5, yeah, e6 I saw it immediately as a tactic. And it turns out that, yeah, when I played this out, I knew that, or I felt like it just, everything was perfectly on time. Like I explained, rook d7 is not playable, rook e8 is not playable, and b4 is pending. Like, just to give you an idea of what's going on is, if I play a pass, b4, the queen can't take because of mate, queen's b6, a5, and the queen can't guard c7 anymore. Actually, this is a force mate now in 8 moves or so. Which is exactly why they play this very clever looking rook move here. The idea behind this was, as I explained, that here it's actually me who gets mated. The irony is that knight d5 is only second best here. Knight b5 is the engine's favorite move. I will show you this because it's an absolutely sensational force checkmate. Takes, check, here, check, here, check. King can't go here because it's mate, king b8, and check, check, and mate on the respective square. Wowza. King he mate, king he mate. Not bad. But I saw knight d5 winning and I didn't even look elsewhere. Frankly, I didn't even think there was anything else that would have done it, but it did a trick because I called that my opponent would resign, and they did. So the end would have been takes, check, king d8, and queen d6 is matey. So yeah, why is it actually not as good as? Oh, because after 95 they don't have to take. So how can they? Oh, black has rook d8, he delaying the mate. Whatever. Whatever. I mean, look at this queen win, by the way. I didn't see this. Check and check, and you pick off the queen. Wow. In fact, it's mate. Yeah, the engine just realized that it's force mate. Right. So, I didn't know what this inside my head was going to turn out to be, but it turned out to be a fun line to try to beat the Berlin without taking too many risks. So, to give you a bit of a sort of outro with a theoretical spin on it, you play queen f4 and you are risking very little for potentially quite a bit. Because if they do not play queen d7, which is the engine's favorite move for you, very difficult to find unless you know this, the rook d1, c6, and then queen f5 or queen g4 is going to secure black's safety. Then it's struggle city because bishop e7 almost loses to queen g3. And now g6 or king f8 are the only moves for black, and neither is particularly attractive. So yeah, it's a fun little line that you can muck around with, and as you can see, I just beat a candidate master without any dramas whatsoever. I mean, literally from this point on, the win was never in doubt. And it's an easy position to play. Yeah, bishop d2 would have been nice here. It was all rolling very smoothly. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please do not forget to do the usual things, which is sub, like, comment, thank me if you can, super thank me if you can, and yeah, I will see you in the next video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.